Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. Now, as I can see that I am audible, and I hope the screen is visible to you. Yes. Okay. Now, since both are visible, today's topic is holistic progress card. So, welcome to this session. So, what is holistic progress card, and how is it different from a normal progress card? Can anyone just tell me? Topic of today is holistic progress card, right? Now, holistic progress card is something very different from the usual report card, progress card, what you call it, that is being very common in every school. Every school does have every class rather has a report card. But how is it? Yes, holistic, that means, yes, it went off so quickly, but I couldn't read it. Yes. Okay. So holistic progress card is quite different from the progress card that is being circulated, right? So holistic progress card is something you can see from this image here. But what are the things? See, that means children have got multiple intelligence. You know what multiple intelligence is? Some are good in music, some are good in interpersonal relationship, some are good artists, isn't it? So on that basis, a report card can be made where 360-degree analysis of multi-dimensions kill a child. Now you see why this is important. See, we are following NEP 2020, right? Can anybody tell me what is the full form of NEP 2020? NEP 2020 means what? What is the full form? NEP 2020, National Education Policy. Yes, because many have the concept of telling new education policy, but it is a national education policy. That means it is a mandate for the entire nation. Okay. Now it has kept certain goals, and it is mandatory for everyone to follow it, right? Now, what are the purpose? What are the goals that they have kept? See, ensures that primary purpose of assessment is to promote learning and the development of student. That means generally in a report card, what we do is we show the progress report, that is only the grades, right? So grades does not mean that you have assessed the child properly, because grades are generally what we follow is content driven. If certain chapters the child has imbibed properly, the child can score good marks. Okay. But that is not the main theme or main motto. Rather, not theme, it is that is not the main motto of assessment. Now, when we focus on regular formative assessment, see, we have two type of assessment. One is formative and one is summative one. So, regular check-ins, that means small assessment, where you give the children, the voice is not coming. You might check your system, but I think many, yes, am I audible right and clear? Just many are telling okay. Now if yes means I'm from my system the voice sound is okay. Okay, now what I was telling is we have to focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than summative assessment that encourages today's coaching culture. Now you see, when we talk of today's coaching culture, I am already mentioning that today's coaching culture means what? See, many have got the tendency of non-attending students, especially in the +2. When the child goes to +2, that non-attending thing becomes very prominent, right? So they don't appear for the small check-ins and formative tests, and finally they come for the board examination. So that has become the culture. I don't know about the other districts, but in Dhanbad, it is very, very, very common thing. Children want to get admission in the +2s, but they don't want to attend regular classes. Why? Because the coaching time and the class schedule matches. So they prefer go to the coaching classes. So that coaching culture is very bad, and that is overpowering the schooling system. Do you agree it or not? Yes. Do you agree that this is the scenario? Yes. Now, the shift from testing rote and memorizing skill to competency based and testing higher order skills such as analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. Now, you see, when we talk of higher order thinking and lower order thinking, what is the taxonomy that gives a clear idea? Yes, in our B.Ed classes, all have gone through. What is the taxonomy? Higher order thinking and lower order thinking? Can anybody just tell me? Because this is also a very basic concept. So many training. Yes, Bloom's, Benjamin Bloom. Now we are following the revised Bloom's taxonomy, where we are using the verb. And that third order and fourth order. First one is, see, for remembering the Bloom's taxonomy, RUAAEC. Okay, now evaluation was on the epic of the first Bloom taxonomy, but they have come down and create. C is the last one. Someday I'll take up that. But for the thing is, remembering and understanding is a lower order thinking. That means if you are promoting rote learning and memorizing, that means that is a lower order. The brain does not, the cognitive domain of the brain does not fully participate when you remember things. Okay, but when the child tries to analyze, when the child, that critical thinking, conceptual clarity, that is called the higher order thinking. So today's education policy, that is competency based, focuses on these areas, isn't it? Now, enabling assessment to help the school system. See, whenever we are doing assessment of a child within the classroom, that does not mean that you and your child classroom is individual. You are in the entire system. Yes, the school is a compact system, right? Now the school system to continuously revisit teaching learning progresses. What is school actually? You cannot separate the school from the society, right? See, so many places we hear of socio emotional need. That means child is also not separable from the society, right? So school has got the immense responsibility. Not only that, they have the responsibility of educating. See, educating is not only a one-sided matter. It has to be two-way, teaching and learning. So the entire process has to be customized according to the need of the society, according to the need of the hour, according to the trends. So that is why the word optimize the learning and development of all students. It is not only few rank holders who are in the school, isn't it? If a school is having 2,000, 3,000 children, I'm just talking of a simple example, that means the school is responsible for the entire number of children that is studying within the domain of the school. Yes. So when you are analyzing the holistic progress, that means the school is responsible for each and every child's progress. And if it is a holistic way, it is always a different part. Now you see, what is the process? Now, provision for self-assessment and peer assessment along with teachers' assessment. That means teachers are doing the assessment, right? When you are checking the paper, when you are setting the classroom, classwork, that is also small assessment. That not that only the formative, summative, periodics, not that. Everyday classwork, homework correction comes under assessment and evaluation, right? So, but what the provision for self-assessment is something very, very different and something very, very important. See, we need sustainable self-learners for the future. Do you agree to it? The word sustainable learners. What are sustainable learners? That too self-learners. Can anybody explain the word sustainable self-learners? How is it? How is it beneficial? See, sometimes children become very, stubborn sort of thing. They don't want to study on their own. There is no tuition teacher, no tutor, will not study. Yes, that is the main thing. But when we have the child realizes the need to study, the child understands that, that means you have the self-assessment there. And what is peer assessment? Peer assessment is definitely a boon in our pedagogy, right? So what is peer assessment? When the classmate or the friends help them to solve a problem. When you give group activities, the GDs, group discussions, so many, the friends help them. Helping the co-learner is peer assessment. And obviously teachers, as teachers, we definitely do the assessment. Now, along with paper pencil test, what is paper pencil test? The normal procedure, isn't it? The protocol, how we take the test. We definitely take the test in the answer sheet, and the children are writing either with pencil or either with paper. So paper pencil test is that one. And the scope of alternate assessment procedure. See, the word alternate assessment procedure plus the pen pencil test includes a holistic progress card. Now, the alternate assessment procedure that records the progress of the child in project base. See, we have project work. Every practical in the +2 as well as in the 10th, the project manual the child has to complete, right? Marks are there. That means what? It is an inquiry-based learning. Then quiz, role play, group work, portfolios making. You know, what is portfolio making? Can anybody tell me what you include in the portfolios? We have it in English, we have it in Hindi, any language. What is portfolio? Portfolio means students achievement recorded. Okay, it can be that way also. That means if the teacher is making a portfolio, he or she records all the detail of a child. Okay, daily check-ins, I would say. But portfolios generally consist of all the detail of a particular child in one format. Now, development of a 360-degree holistic multi-dimensional progress card, that is what is the holistic progress card is, which would reflect the progress as well as see the uniqueness of each learner in the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain, and be an important link between the parent and the teacher. Yes, total detail is called a portfolio. Yes, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now you see 360-degree holistic multi-dimensional progress card. What we call it as a holistic progress card. What is that? See, uniqueness of the child is reflected. See, normal report card, when we see that the child got 80 in mathematics, 70 in English, that way only the marks are there. But you know, if the child is very good in mimicry, or if the child is an excellent orator, how do we do that? How do we do that in a report card? Report card does not, normal report card do not have columns for all this. So the uniqueness of the child, if it is there portrayed in the report card, it is excellent for the child in career choosing also. The parent will also know about the uniqueness of the child, and that is what is the main aim when we call it as holistic progress card. So these are mandates laid down by National Education Policy. Now, development of interactive software to enable students to track their progress and get information on their strength, areas of interest, and needed areas of focus. That means where the child is not doing well. Now, why is this? Why do we need a holistic progress card? See, grades do not give a clear picture of a student learning. What are the substitutes? Yes, I said earlier also, if a child getting 80 in mathematics, but the child is an excellent orator, or the child is an excellent athlete, how do we show it? So what are the substitutes? What do parents, teachers, and students want to know from a progress card? Once you get a progress card, what you see in a progress card? Can anybody tell me? Generally, what are the things that you see in a progress card? Marks, okay. Only marks. So as parents, if you see that my child has got 80 in maths, 60, 70, whatever grades they have got. But as parents, I do not know. Yes, remarks are also there. Remarks, but the remarks does not solely, see, for example, if I say the child is an excellent sportsman and he is getting 60, 70, 40, these type of marks. But his own uniqueness, whatever the child is good at, how do you portray in a report card? We don't have. Yes. Yes, an academic also. Yes. Yes, improvement. Okay, you can make these kind of remarks like improvement, but a normal report card will never portray the uniqueness or the child that he is good at. For example, a child is an excellent singer, and in the progress card only there are 6, 7, 8 columns for the subjects. So you cannot definitely judge the child, isn't it? Now, what are the various ways in which school can communicate progress? See, communication is very, very important. We are also accountable as teachers, as stakeholders. Yes, we need to know, because we are here creating future citizen. Children are already equipped with a 21st century skill. Things are not that it was earlier. Careers are many, isn't it? And performance is never static. Today I may get 100 in maths, but tomorrow if the chapter is not quite comfortable with me, if I cannot imbibe the entire chapter properly, I may lose my grades. I may get lesser marks. Or today, for example, I get 40 in a particular subject. If I work hard, that 40 can be easily transformed into 80. Do you agree? Yes. Now, it has to be measured over a period of time. Progress is not something static. One day, you cannot judge anybody, isn't it? So, we have a whole year, final term, to judge the progress of a child. Now, you see, how does the progress report card provide feedback for students so as to facilitate progress in learning? This is the question that is answered by a holistic progress card, isn't it? See, progress card provide feedback. Now, what are the type of feedback for student? It has to include everything. For example, the academics as well as the sports, singing, whatever the child is good at should be portrayed in one single report card, so that the parent knows the uniqueness of their child. Because see, school as stakeholders, you cannot leave the parent. Yes, if somebody good in dancing, how can that be proved in a report card that would portray only the grades? So assessment cannot be only the subject, not the subjective assessment, right? Now, how can the progress be a log of performance and conversation with parents and students? In PTMs. PTMs are definitely very, very important. But when you are showing the report card, as we are generally doing, that means only the 6 subjects, and apart from all the other activities that is being done, how will the parents know? Is it possible to help parents see the connection and possibilities of the direction in which the student is growing? Yes, these are questions. These are not my questions. These are questions and mandates that has been kept forward by the national education policy. Because national education policy is a much and a deeper understanding of the education system that is going on. So how can teachers' burden be filled in progress report be decreased? Yes, the master mark sheet, the mini mark sheet, we are already doing that. But finally, are you satisfied? No. Why? Because the project that report card that we are giving is only half assessment, isn't it? The evaluation procedure is half, right? So all the above questions that permits can be answered by HPC, the holistic progress card. That will be why the holistic progress card a pedagogical tool. It is a very useful method. Why? Because here earlier the teaching learning outcome was never focused on. Yes. Earlier when a child would not do good in a particular subject, you can easily blame the child is not studying. But standing in this 21st century, can you do that? Yes. Can you blame a child for not studying well? I want the answer from your side. Can a child be blamed? No. Why no? Because again, the education system today, yes, thank you so much for such wonderful interaction. Okay, if you are typing properly, I will know. I will get the energy to carry on. That means you are there and interaction is there. Okay, thank you once again. Now, I said that I was telling that if you are doing this, you cannot blame a child for the progress. Why? Because again, the education system here is child centric. If the child cannot understand or the child cannot study well, it is 100% the fault of the teacher. Yes, the intellectual educators. Why? Because you are responsible for the progress or the growth of the child, right? A process through which both the teacher and the parents will equally participate for the students' achievement of competency. What is competency? The thing that will be required or necessary for the child in his career or for future use. Something that is not in use has been cut off from the syllabus nowadays. Yes. Okay. So that is what competency, skill-based education. That it should be, the child should be benefiting from his studies. It should be utilized to frame the career. So you cannot just leave the parent out of the system. A school can run successfully if the cooperation of the teachers, the students, and the parents all are coming together, right? A tool to enable society to participate in students' development and progress. I said schools are again social organization. The school belongs to the society and the society belongs to the school. Yes, children are coming from the society. So somewhere schools are institutes for shaping or educating. Schools have got immense responsibility for educating the society. Not only today, till time immemorial. You see, okay. Now you see, when we talk of holistic progress card, we see that it is a collaborative endeavor. What is collaborative endeavor? That means it is a collaboration, cooperation of the teachers, of the parents, of the learners, and the peers all together. Now they have to focus hand in hand for the future of the child. Okay, so this is what a holistic progress card consists of. Now, what are the aims and spirit of HPC? Now, you see, the process of learning needs to give more importance than the product. For example, the child has tried to answer all the questions. No doubt some answers may be wrong, but the spirit of answering should be appreciated, isn't it? For example, the child is unable to solve an equation. The child is unable to solve any particular problem in mathematics, or the child is unable to write properly, notice writing, paragraph writing, whatever subjects they have taken. But the thing is, the child has at least tried to answer it. Whether it is 20% correct, 30% correct, it's okay. Why? Because the process of learning needs to be given more importance than the product. Finally, the end product may not be 100% okay. There might be, it might need some rectification, but the process has to be given more priority. Now, when we do that, assessment as of and for learning. Now, what is assessment? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what does the word assessment means? The word assessment, what it is? I'm waiting for your answer. Please, somebody use the chat box and tell me what is assessment. What do you know about assessment? Two-way evaluation. Okay. Assessment, evaluation. Now, what is evaluation? To judge. Okay. Performance. Yes. That means you need to know that how much the child has learned. Overall performance. Yes. Performance is there. So, as. What is assessment as? And what is assessment of? And what is for? Three words are there: as, of, and for. Of and for skills. Okay, that means what? You are assessing the children for what he has learned and for what he is good at. Do you agree or not? Yes. That means how much he has understood and what he is. See, as, of, and for. These are the three words, how you can analyze the performance or the progress of child. Isn't it? You have to assessment as what you have to do, the activity. Of, what is of what you are assessing, the content, and for what you are assessing. Now, provide insight regarding the learner's strength, areas of interest, as well as scope for improvement. Now, see, we all know about the SWOT chart. SWOT, SWOT. It applies for everything, right? S stands for strength. Now, what does W stands for? If S in a SWOT chart, if S stands for strength, W, yes, weakness. Thank you so much. And opportunities. And what is T? T stands for threat. So now analyzing the SWOT chart of the individual learner can be linked to HPC, that is known as holistic progress card. Yes, threat, definitely. Thank you, ma'am. Now, what is provide insight regarding the strength of the learner? That means what? It is not only the responsibility of the counselors to individually analyze, but when we are doing the holistic progress card, whoever teacher is responsible for that particular group of children, I mean the class, has to analyze the child. But how do you analyze the child? First is academically, how much the child has learned. The learning outcome will give you the result. Yes, the learning outcome is for the facilitators, not for the children. That means how good you have taught has been seen as academic result. Do you agree? Yes. So that is what we are judging. Now, if the child is very good as an orator, the child is a sportsman, a singer, anything, any other apart from the academics, that is his strength. He can take up this strength as a career. So that means what? That not only the career counselor, it is the responsibility of the facilitator to boost up this strength. So holistic progress card is the only solution to all this, where the child can be boosted up for his strength. Now, be a dynamic and continuous process, aiding the growth and development of the learner instead of assessing or judging the final outcome. See, first part I started with, that the process of learning needs to be given more importance than the product. That means the child, in the process of learning, you have to be there as mentors, as motivators. So you are going to guide them during the process. Now, finally, when you give the final judgment, the final progress report, when you are giving, so then You can already see the progress line because already you are keeping the portfolios of the child. Yes. Now, acknowledge and celebrate the uniqueness in each learner. Now, here is the main work that has to be done. Every child is unique. We agree to it, right? Now, since the uniqueness is there in every child, a child has got some kind of unique qualities that separates the child, the other child from that particular child. So every child has got that. Yes. So when every child is unique, every child has got some special quality. Why do we always generalize them or judge them by the grades they are getting? For example, I might be getting 20 in mathematics. ठीक है, mathematics हमको नहीं आता. I cannot imbibe that particular subject. No harm to it. But I can be good in drawing. Now see, even the Bollywood picture has forecasted this inclusiveness in the classroom. Can anybody tell me a name of a picture where this inclusiveness has been forecasted by saying the child is differently able and he is excellent in his own way? Anyone? Any one movie? Name of the movie where you can see this uniqueness is celebrated? Tare Zameen Pe, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. That means you all know what it is. And you all are listening to me. Thanks for that. So that means what? See, the Tare Zameen Pe, those of you who have seen the film, here you see the child suffers from dyslexia. Now, what is dyslexia? Dyslexia is another disease that is dyslexia means a child suffers from early childhood reading and learning difficulties. This dyslexia comes under that ASD. It under also the umbrella term is ASD, where the child cannot read properly. Dyslexia in that, you know, that mirror image reflection the child reads. That means we are reading it from left to right. But the child who is suffering from dyslexia will see the word that is from right to left. So that is very difficult. You cannot read it that way. So the child has that problem. But see the uniqueness in the child. He had an excellent quality with colors. Fascination for colors. He can mix and match, and such beautiful paintings the child could do. The entire family was very shy of that child because he was very poor in his academics. But finally, when the uniqueness was celebrated, the child was not suffering from identity crisis anymore. Because whenever you distribute the report card, only the academics marks come. Some child who cannot do well in these academics and they are differently able. They can do things apart from these subjects. For example, an athlete, isn't it? See, when Olympics are there, when the India gets bronze medal, gold medal, we celebrate that, isn't it? But remember that individual who has an excellence, for example, archery, anything that way, that is apart from the academics. So definitely the person who is doing that, hats off to him. So if the child in your class is differently, he's an athlete, but he is weak in English. So what will you do? What will you do if a child is weak in English but good in sports? So we cannot just subjugate the child ki, oh, your English is bad, so you have no life at all. We cannot do that, isn't it? Now we have to encourage. Yes, thank you so much. We have to encourage the child that since you are an excellent sportsman, you are an excellent athlete, but here is the subject that you have to pay little. Yes, language is not a barrier. We know that. Yes, you need to motivate. He will focus to improve his weakness. Yes, that's the word I wanted. Now we trace the progress of all-round development of the learner. That all-around development does not mean only the academics. It is apart from academics. Yes. Now, recommended to include the multiple form of assessment tools, form of of assessment tools having varying and flexible format. Yes, this is, see, the child, we have to recommend that multiple form of assessment. Now, multiple form of assessment, multidisciplinary. Now, see, can you name one, just one topic where this multidisciplinary assessment is done? Integrated learning. I give you a hint. So these are multiple form of assessment. That's a tool. Yes. What are the form? Art integration, then sports integration. We are using this, isn't it? Team sports. Yes. So these are integrated learning. Sometimes if the child is taking an English chapter with a role play. Okay. ASL. ASL is there. Yes. So that is integrated learning. That means what? When you depict or narrate a particular story in the form of role play, you understand better, you enjoy it better. So that joyful learning has also to be kept in mind. Okay, so that is how the multiple form of assessment tool, because these are tools of assessment having varying and flexible format. How do you do that? See, objective to descriptive. Objective to descriptive assessment, then visual art. What are the form of visual art? We are already doing that. Kala Setu app is there, you know, where marks are to be uploaded. So what are you doing? Visual art. Visual art can be dance form, visual art can be collage, visual art can be slideshow presentation also comes from that. Any format, formats are plenty, and to assess all aspect of development in their entirety. That means the whole thing should be done together, right? Now, what are the features of holistic progress card? See, when we are doing, see, till now, what is holistic progress card? How it has to be done? Now, what are the specific features? See, participatory and learner-centric approach. That is what I was telling. Now, again, that NEP 2020 is also learner-centric approach. That means the approach should be seen for 360-degree development of that particular individual. So the participatory, that means the child has to participate in the assessment format, whatever format you take, and then the learner-centric approach has to be taken. And inclusiveness, we had already discussed right now, isn't it? That inclusive, that means child is not able to read and write properly, but he is differently able, different wise in other format. He is excellent. So we are going to assess the child on those areas where the child is excellent. Yes, do you agree to that? And we will not assess the child by his weakness. For example, I gave you the example, a child is an excellent sportsman but weak in any other subject. So subjectively we will not humiliate that since you are not getting marks. See, marks cannot be the final judgment of the progress of a child, isn't it? Because marks are never static. And again, the assessment scheme, what we are doing, even for the board exam and everything we are following, it is all content driven. If you don't go through the textbook, if you don't go through the syllabus, the child will not be able to get good marks. But getting good marks and getting a proper knowledge of the subject, both are two different things. Marks can vary. How? I tell you. See, for example, a child has gone to sit for an examination and he is asked the few questions that are given in the question paper itself. Due to some reason, any reason or a particular topic, the child may not be able to understand that particular content that was given in his textbook, right? So he couldn't get good marks. But if the questions were changed or some topics were in a different platform, the child might have got a good marks. So that way, if the child is getting 60, yes, marks are necessary. I'm not telling that marks are not necessary. But when we are doing that holistic progress card, there, apart from the marks, the child can be assessed by the thing that the child is good at. See, inclusiveness. For example, the child cannot hold the pencil properly, but the child can write whatever he can see. He can understand on his own level of understanding. But the child can do something else. For example, handicraft, the child might be excellent. So when you are assessing, those excellent points you have to take together, isn't it? So assess the task and not the learner. See, assess the ability of the child to complete an assessment according to the defined competency and skill continuously. So assessment has to be continuous. Okay. Now, builds on self-awareness and self-esteem. See, these are two different words, and these are two different words of two different meaning, but has got profound impact on the development of the child. Now, you see, HPC communicates the strength and areas of improvement for participation and discussion between the teacher, the child, and where possible, the parents. See, three things has to be together: the child, the parent, and the teacher. Why? Because these are the three areas, or these are the three inevitable points when we are discussing a child's progress card. A progress card is created by a teacher who, as an observer, observes the day-to-day development or improvement of the child, right? And what are parents? Parents is not somebody who will come one day to take the report card. Oh, my child is good at maths. Okay, but my child is good in not good in particular subject, so he has to be judged by that. No, the here, you know, again here it is a collaborative effort, and that communicates the strength and areas of improvement of the child. So the parent is also responsible. For example, if the child is good in dancing, the parent should also understand that my child, apart from studies, he might be okay in studies, right? See, how many of you can remember your 7th grade report card? Do you ever remember? Can anybody tell me? You remember today that, see, all have, yes. See, my chat box is flooding with no. That means what? When we were in class 7, it might be very, very important for us. But now we see that those report cards are valueless. Nobody will ask you today your mathematics marks if not you are a maths teacher, and nobody will ask your English marks if not you are an English teacher. Do you agree or not? Because we know, still remember my dancing skill at class. Definitely. Because the person who you are, the society knows you for your own uniqueness. Every one of us who all are teachers here, we are not common man. Yes. 10 normal man equals to 1 teacher. And we share immense responsibility, and I can vouch on it that every teacher, every single teacher is unique in his way of teaching. No two teaching methods can be same. There might be similarities, but no two. Everyone is unique. Everyone is doing their best. They are giving their best. But when we talk of the assessment, why do we become so rigid? The assessment method should also be flexible. Respect all the... I couldn't read what the... Yes, definitely. We know we are doing things in our own way, and we know what is important and what is not important, right? So that is the reason that we should give our children the chance to know them. That is self-awareness. It is not the responsibility of the counselor alone always to say that, okay, this is the strength of this is your strength, you can take this as your career. If the child is good in singing, not only who will give that okay, you are good in singing, you can take this as a career. It has to be there, because this is something that is God gifted. If the child is good in debate, the progress card should have certain column where the strength should be given to that. So that is what is answered by the holistic progress card. Now you see, what are the goal settings? We need to, some achievable goals are to be set when we are talking of holistic progress card. Now what are these? See, holistic progress card includes opportunities for a child in consultation with the teachers, future goal that providing direction to both teacher and the child in term of future action. That is what I was telling, that if the child is good in singing, the child is good in athletics, the child is good in this oration, these things has to be included in the progress card so that the child's parents, as well as the school authorities, everybody knows that he is what this particular child is good at this particular topic, so that he can take it as a career itself. Yes, tracks skills and competencies. See, assesses the competency and skill is laid down in Nippon. Can anybody tell me what is the full form of Nippon? Have you heard of it, Nippon? Yes. What is the full form of Nippon? Now, recently we had that Shiksha Saptah, isn't it? That 4th anniversary of this national education policy. We had, and in that we had that Nippon. Nippon Bharat. Can anybody tell me what is this Nippon here? Yes. Anybody? Any idea? Now see, NIPUN. Okay. So it is a national innovation of proficiency in understanding and reading and understanding and numeracy. So that means what? It comes under FLN. What is FLN? Fundamental in, yes, proficiency in reading and understanding. See, we have children, so many children in the junior classes who can write A to Z, can write the numbers, but when you give unknown spellings or unknown words, they cannot read. It happens especially in children of KG2, class 1. That is the basic time when these are noticed, that the child can write A to Z but cannot read any unknown spelling given to them. And this is what where Nippon comes in. See, the government has aimed by the year 2026 to 2027, this FLN, fundamental in literacy and numeracy, along with Nippon, has to be taken up very seriously, so that we have, again, the future is very clear to our children. We don't have children who cannot read and we cannot understand what they are reading, right? So Nippon has set up certain criteria under the FLN, that means foundation in literacy and numeracy, that they have taken, and here they have made it very, very clear that the joyful experience of learning has to be manifested right at the beginning, right from the primary stages. Okay, so that they not only learn, not that rote learning, A to Z, you can just read it. People can say, children, preschool children can also say A to Z, but they don't know what A to Z is, what alphabet A is. Yes. Now, so that is what is laid down in Nippon, and where the joyful learning experience is there, and the child has to be assessed, and the teaching, the pedagogy should be in such a way that they understand what they are reading, they understand what they are doing, right? Now, interdisciplinary. What is interdisciplinary? When we combine two subjects together, right? The HPC encourages and offered possibilities for interdisciplinary task assessment, under which individual tasks can be assessed in alignment with the recommendation of NEP 2020 to break the subject silos. Now, for example, we are doing it in integrated art integration. Art integration, we have the art integration, two states together should be integrated. So we have that Jharkhand and Telangana. Now, when the child, see, we have so many platforms, I need not explain art integration here and what is there in the Kala Setu app. What are the things, right? So if the child, I said mime, then MyMath, then some dance format, then food culture, SST, isn't it? Yes, so these are some of the formats where you can assess the child in an interdisciplinary task. See, maths can be joyful. Maths, see, there are so many videos you can see in the YouTube where art integrated learning is there for maths also. What are the subjects? See, we are a straight line and something like that. There are songs also there where the straight line, the curved line, the square, the center, the radius and the diameter has been easily sung and narrated by the student and teachers. Yes, active learning. So these are interdisciplinary learning. Then use of color, fabrics, these are also interdisciplinary. You mix the science and you mix, then use beautiful artifacts are created, beautiful decoration items are created from waste material, recyclable material and non-recyclable material. That is also interdisciplinary, isn't it? Flexible activities. Now nowadays, how many? See, we all celebrated Plantation Day in our school. Yes, many of us celebrated. Every school was celebrated. Every school was celebrating that Plantation Day. Now, what is the motive for Plantation Day? It is not that you plant trees, but what is the approach by these activities? By these activities, you know, so many things. For example, silviculture, the afforestation, the uses of tree, save earth. Yes, these are something, the entire ecosystem can be taught through this plantation activity, and to take care of the tree, Tarumitra. These we can already do. So that is a very flexible way. Templates and formats will provide to the teacher, and there will be possibilities to customize them according to the school's individual needs, making the HPC a flexible tool. So HPC is something, you know, holistic progress card is always a flexible mode. It is nothing very detailed and nothing very concrete that you cannot make any changes. This flexibility makes this holistic progress card a unique card in itself, where you get a 360-degree analysis, multi-dimensional analysis of a particular child, and that is the main motto of this. See here, three criteria: section 1, section 2, and section 3. Section 1 depends on the development goal and competencies. These development goals are set forward by the schools and the facilitators, the stakeholders. Okay, so these goals are set, and you know, bringing into action is the responsibility of the teachers. Now, once these are achieved, these should be achievable. And then finally, the section 2 comes the parents' feedback. If you are doing something good, if the child is doing something good, it is no, appraisal should not be coming only from the teachers or school side. The parents should also be doing the same thing. You know, the appraisal, if you are praising a child for a small or a very minute thing that a child has achieved, it might be minute for you, but it gives an immense value to the particular child who has achieved that. And section 3 is the portfolio. See here, section 1, you have targeted the goal, whatever competency you have worked on it. Second is during the PTM, the feedback is also there. And finally, the section 3 comes for portfolio. Now here, the function of portfolio is what I said: you can check in the progress, areas that has to be worked together, areas that need to be considered a little bit seriously, and areas where the child can escalate, much higher scores can be achieved. So the achievable targets and the progress of the child comes under section 3. So these are the three sections where the holistic progress card are to be saved. Now here's a particular format. Again, we'll be following the format. See, format is already given by Nipun Bharat guidelines. Okay, these are for preschool. CBSE affiliated schools may adapt the card as per their requirement and the context, locality, everything. Now we had this, you know, FLN and Nipun Bharat program. This recently, very recently, when we were celebrating the 4th anniversary of the NEP. And on the, I think on the second day we had this FLN, and that on the Shiksha Saptah, day 2, there was, yes. So we had already, because why this was given for all the schools to do that? Again, we all were focusing towards this new HPC format, that is in the. Now, this card is an individual and comprehensive representations of the student progress. That means already it is an individualized. That means if I'm good in singing, my progress card will have something that would definitely glorify my strength. And it is a comprehensive representation of the student's progress. That means all around. Again, the holistic 360 analysis. Now, HPC builds on continuous assessment to present a picture of students' progress across a specific time. Obviously, we have now midterm, we have the end term, and in between we have formative. That means small check-ins as formative. Then we have a detail as summative, where we give chances and areas for the progress till the end come. Now it provides a disaggregated reporting until a single score or letter grade in a subject area. Definitely. Continuous assessment is present, a picture of the student. Now suddenly if you give the summative result, uh, or the final term to result to the parents, that means it is a disaggregated reporting. Why? Because a single grade cannot judge the entire progress of a child. Now a comprehensive list of age grade wise outcome is given in the foundation literacy and numeracy framework Nipun, which was expected to be covered during the classroom session. See, we don't need extra time. This time should be allotted and controlled within the classroom time only. See, there is no extra time required for that. However, for the purpose of reporting the progress of a student, select competency that represents the critical area of instruction and developments are highlighted in the card along with each developmental goal. So that is what I am telling, that highlight of the progress or the achievable goal should be achievable. Yes, when we talk of SMART, it is achievable targets, right? Smart classes, smart goals. So that I am talking of. I don't want to go into the detail. I think it's already, we are lacking time. Okay. Now you see, 3 competencies are year-long expectations are to be measured with the following scale. So this is a scale, level. And this is an interpretation of what is. See, we have 3 categories. If we are following the Nipun one, 3. We begin with a beginner, then the progressing, and then the proficiency. Proficiency means the child has achieved everything. And beginner, the child is starting. So beginner, what is in the beginner form? The student is at the beginning stage of the target competency, whichever target you have made. So the child is a beginner here and needs a great deal of support and hand holding. See, the word hand holding here says many sentences, right? Hand holding is not only with the student teacher and as well as with the parent and the child, and as well as the parent and the teacher. So the collaboration should be 3 ways in a triangle, right? Then progressing. The student is able to meet some part of the target competency independently, but needs some occasional support and handholding. See, when the child is progressing, the child is already good and competent in that particular subject. But there are some areas where the child is little bit, fluctuating in the progress. There, who will help? 3 people can help: the teacher, the parent, and as well as the peer support. So here, this is the explanation for the progressing. And once it comes to proficiency, the child is able to meet the target competency independently without any support. So here we have those meritorious group of children who are self-learners, who does not need anybody's support and can achieve their goals on their way. So see, here you have glorified, as well as you never subjugate a child when the child's grades are not going better. So these goals are to be met with the use of activity-based experiential learning pedagogy by the teacher to enable a child to develop competency. Observation and discussion by a child are also integral part of the pedagogy required. Now, finally, when a child is at the beginner level, it would be desirable that a teacher includes a narrative how she will support the child and what parental support is. That is actually in the domain of the teacher who is taking care of the child's progress, that he or she should clearly mention that these are the weak areas where focus should be there. Now, for the purpose of representation of the level in the card, school must select any non-hierarchical and neutral icon such as a flower, tree, and smiley. That means a child got a smiley. That means he is good at it, right? On the particular column. So it would not create any differences. Even, grades create differences among students also. Teacher must keep the record of the baseline level for each student at the beginning of the session, and child record. This is very important. You see, child's record of the previous class can be the baseline. That means that we need to know from where to start, isn't it? If the child is weaker in mathematics, when the new session starts, this has to be known by the teacher who will be taking care of the child in this new session. The progress card document is a combination of child's own expression of self as well as the teacher's assessment of the child. See, that strength SWOT chart. Okay, mention standards, and there is also a section of self-assessment and peer assessment which shall reflect the child's self-reflection, peer reflection on the basis of the sum task and activities based on experiential learning. And finally, this gives a complete picture of the child, provides an evidence as well as opportunity of the child to present her growth in progress review over the year. That means no stone has been kept unturned. Finally, a pictorial evidence of the child's work is represented in the portfolio section, and this essentially represents the child work and task assigned. And finally, you see a holistic progress card looks like this, that whichever way the thing, for example, role play, the child is here, beginner, progressor, and proficiency. Again, term 2, which subject he is a beginner, only a smiley is given and there is no grade given to it. So that means the child stands here. You can plot a graph of it also without harming the individual sentiment of the child as well as the parents. You see, in first he was a beginner and second he is progressing. That means work has been done at this level. And you see, first he was in term 1, he was progressing. Second, he has become a beginner. That means here the graph has gone down. In many places, the graph has gone up. So this was a holistic progress card, how you can make it, how you can do it from my side. And thank you so much for being so interactive. Yes. So I've come to the end of the session. If you have any doubt, any query, you can ask me in the chat box. And otherwise, I'll just say thank you once again.